Deep in the barren land of the Arizona Mojave Desert lie secrets to the afterlife that are waiting to be revealed. Who would think that such a secluded place may have the souls of the dead inhabiting it? Step into the world of paranormal and hear what those who have perished into the realm of the dead may have to say. As a paranormal specialist in the field of EVP analysis, I have conducted many audio sessions out in the sandy, isolated desert surrounding the town of Kingman, Arizona. The desert to the south of Kingman, Arizona is where the haunted miner house is located. Just walk outside the door of the residence and you're in the Mojave Desert. We have to go back to the year 2003 when my husband and I purchased the haunted miner house out near Kingman, Arizona. We bought it for the price and land only because the house was in disarray and needed a lot of work. The roof was in bad shape. Every room leaked with rain. It had no heating, no air conditioning, and no water. Despite the fact that it was in such bad condition, we started fixing it up. After a while, we found out it was easier just to live in it and to fix it up while we were there. The electric worked fine, everything else worked fine, but there just was no water. We started doing the walls and the interior and redecorating. We did the floors. And as we slept at night, things started happening. That became like pounding on our bedroom door at night. Pounding so hard you'd jump out of bed. Pounding on the windows, pounding on the walls. Sometimes pictures in the living room would go flying off the walls. It became a bit unnerving, and we had a lot of questions that needed to be answered. What was it that was making all these noises? Well, we tried to figure out, could it be something under the house or something else in the walls, like pipes? But it couldn't have been the pipes because the water was not working. There was no pressure. So the only conclusion we could come up with was there was something wrong with the house, something unusual, paranormal going on. The entity just kept making all sorts of racket, trying to scare us out of the house. It wasn't working very well. I decided at one point to find out what they wanted, because it seemed like there was more than one. So I started doing audio sessions. To my surprise, I started picking up several entities through my audio. I recorded their voices and asked them questions as to why they were there. What I found out was disturbing, that they were lost souls that had traveled together and did not know how to move on into the light. I conducted the session to send them into the light, which was successful, except there were a few of them that did not want to go on. My thought was maybe they did something bad and they were afraid they wouldn't go into heaven. For whatever reason, they still lingered there in the haunted miner house. Got to the point that we just ran out of funds to fix the house up. It was just too costly. So we decided to move on into an apartment. So now the house is empty, but it still needs renovation. Doesn't seem like there's much more we could do for it. We'd like to put it up for sale, but the way the market is right now, it wouldn't sell. Then we came up with this idea that maybe others who investigate the paranormal would like to stay in the house and see if they can pick up things too. So what we're deciding to do is to fix it up and make it as comfortable as possible, despite the fact it has no water, and rent it out for the night for paranormal investigators so they can spend the night there and hear what we've heard. Trying to gather all the evidence we can about this haunting. But the question still arises, why is this house so haunted? It's out in the middle of the desert. There's no neighbors around, very few, maybe a block or so away. There's no history on the land of anything other than maybe miners passing through the area. Oatman is very close to this house. A lot of miners may have camped there in the area where the house now resides. Or perhaps people traveling through in wagon trains, or horses, or even Indians. While I am talking about Oatman, Arizona, here's a little information about it. Nestled in the sleepy Black Mountains adjacent to Old Route 66, lies a town once bustling with miners and cowboys during its heyday. Oatman, Arizona was once an active mining town during the Wild West days. The town was named around 1909 after the Oatman family that was massacred back in 1851. One daughter, Olive Oatman, was kidnapped by Yavapai Indians, then later saved and returned in 1856. Oatman, Arizona is now a tourist ghost town. But the fact of the matter is the house is haunted. Whether it is an old miner from Oatman days or what, we don't know. There also seems to be some sort of vortex. If you notice in this picture, there seems to be a circular motion of something that we captured in our living room. We're fixing the house up right now so that it can be stayed in overnight. As of the moment, it is not appropriate for anybody to stay there. And every time we go visit the home to check on it, we hear poundings and footsteps. He never left. There's one main man there that just made it his home. He won't move on. He just wants to stay. He's gotten pretty used to us now, and he pretty much doesn't bother us. But who's to know what will happen if somebody else stays in the house? Overnight, in the dark. This UFO was filmed above the haunted miner house. My husband and I saw something out in the sky, a big blue round circle, and it stayed there the longest time, and it seemed to get bigger. And then all of a sudden it broke like in two, and the other part separated and became red. Now this happened in June of 2009. Here's some EVPs that I captured inside the haunted miner house and a little bit of information about them. On this particular day I had decided to do an audio session because so much activity was going on in the home. I had my wavepad going and my microphone set up. And to my surprise there was like several different entities, at least 5, that answered my questions. And as you can tell, there's difference in their voices. One man in particular talked in Spanish. Those EVPs you just heard were just a few of many that I captured that day. What's interesting is, after I captured these EVPs, I decided to do a session to help them move on into the light, which seemed to help. It seemed like several of the entities did move on, but a few did not. Some were frightened. Those that did not move on, for whatever reason that kept them there, they may have committed a sin that they thought was not forgivable. Maybe they feared they would not go to heaven. Whatever the reason was, they still linger in that house, the haunted minor house. This is a somewhat lengthy video of the camera on our bedroom door at night. What I wanted to capture was the entity of the ghost apparition as he knocked on the door. You can clearly hear knocks and disturbances while the camera's filming, but what you can't see is just what is causing the nightly disturbance. I, being somewhat eager to see this specter, using my somewhat scientific mind and inventive nature, created a way to try and capture him. So using a full color spectrum and posterization on the video, some indifference or alias negativity occasionally appeared on the door, then would disappear again. I was surprised to see such a strange phenomena clearly occur on the door at different stages of filming. My next thought was, does the appearance of this anomaly happen to coincide with the banging episodes? If you watch the film and the pattern developing, you will notice towards the end and other parts of the film, the lighter area appears around the same time you hear a bang. One day while doing a private audio session outside using a digital voice recorder, there were several creepy captures of audible voices and sounds appearing on playback from the recording device. Many voices were captured of several different entities that at the time were not present to the human eye. They were that of the dead. One particular audio impression was the sound of people marching and a young man calling out numbers. If you listen closely, you can hear what sounds like chains rattling during the march. It was for that reason that the evidence was labeled March of the Dead.
81.9. 81.9. 81.9. 81.9.
This is This audio evidence proved that we sometimes are rendered earthbound after death, and we may join together with others who have the same horrid fate. All lost souls searching for a way to move on or to a place to go. The man who's calling out the numbers in the audio may be sending some of the lost on the way into the light. What other explanation could be for such an incredible audio capture? Those that listen to this audio recorded may say it is that of a living, and the young man's voice is very clear. However, no one was present in that area except the female audio analyst. Patricia Marin, producer of the paranormal show RIP Files, asked if she could hear more EVPs from the minor house. So these are dedicated to you, Patricia. Also, all these EVPs and many more can be purchased on my CD, spookmanor.com Productions, Spirit Voices, Volume 1.
Spookmanor.com produces some of the spookiest audio that you will ever hear.